So I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to keep this up through the whole course, but I'm at least going to start with it the first couple weeks, a module overview. And this is just a quick video to let you know what's coming up, what our focus is, and what kind of readings and videos and assignments to expect. So Module 1, the first week we're only meeting one day because of the way classes work. So we'll meet on Wednesday, and that'll just kind of be our chance for you to ask me questions, to chat a little bit, and to kind of set some expectations. It might be a little repetitive with some of the lectures this time. Normally you'll watch the lectures first and then come to class. So you'll have more of a sense of, or it'll be more us discussing what's in there and rather than repeating. So the readings, you want to read the syllabus. And then also difficult conversations. Do I still have my book right here? I do here. So this is our book. It's pretty cheap. It's pretty accessible. You can get it on Kindle pretty easily. You can get it. There's a lot of different ways to get it. It's also, you can see it's not terribly long. It's, it's a book. It's not really a textbook, but it has a lot of really, really good concepts. And for this semester, it's the only book where the last few modules, and maybe a little sprinkled in before that, we're going to do a lot of outside readings and videos, but as far as books goes, that's the only one. And in Blackboard, I have a PDF of the first chapter just to give you a little time to get the book so that you can keep up if you don't have it right at the beginning. So I have the syllabus linked and the chapter PDF linked. And then I have a couple of the videos already. Don't trust the Blackboard to have all the videos because that's honestly, it's kind of my lowest priority right now. It's one of those things I will do it if I can. I would like to do it, but especially because this isn't, it's not an online course, it's remote and I give you access. The to-do list is much faster and easier for me to link there because the link is there immediately, whereas Blackboard I have to wait for the video to process all the way and go back, and it's just a thing. So trust the module overview or the module to-do list to have the most updated list of videos. And if you make a copy at the beginning, remember at the beginning of every module, go back and make a new copy and check. Just because I am, this isn't meant to be an online course where I set everything up and press play and then just roll with it. It is an interactive remote course. And so I may change what some of my future stuff is based on what we're doing and how things are moving. And it's, some of it's just not there yet. So, so module 1. So check for the latest material at the beginning of every module, which is every 2 weeks. I don't have set deadlines of when you need to do the readings. Often I try to have it so that the first week you do one chapter. So it's often 3 chapters, and I will often have one discussion question the first week that has to do with the first chapter, and then each of the other 2 chapters get discussion questions the second week. So there's, you can kind of see a little bit of a reasonable rhythm for it. This module is a lot of just videos of what's happening, and I may actually move the module up in the list. I may make this overview earlier so that you watch it before you do everything else. I don't know. But it's a lot of just getting to know the course, getting to know. So the reading is very light for these 2 weeks, but there is a lot of just figuring everything out with Blackboard. I have this, I only made one last time. I meant to do little talk-throughs of the chapter. I may honestly even take it out. I don't know. But I'm going to add a couple lectures. I'm going to try to keep the lectures reasonably short. I don't do well with short. But I'm going to try to keep them a little lighter, a little shorter, a little more focused. I'm probably going to go through some of the slides that I made, but honestly, if I just went through the slides, that would be like an hour and a half if I don't watch myself on it. So I will see what ends up happening. And that's part of why I don't know how much I'm going to do these module overviews, because there's a lot that's still up in the air that I have to figure out what works best for this course. But at the end, you're also going to, there's a couple links to videos about how to find articles and how to read empirical articles. If you've already done writing in psych or similar work, you can skip those, but they should be really helpful if this is your first time using empirical articles, or if you've only done it a couple times. And then assignments, you'll notice modules never have due dates, and that's because I am trying to make it easy if I need to give you extra time on things. I don't want to have to change the due date in 3 different places and forget it in one of them and have people confused. So I'm just saying, you know, these are all going to be due somewhere in this 2-week period. And then you go into Blackboard and you look at the Blackboard calendar to see specific due dates. And if you just spread it out a bit, you see the whole thing. So that's module 1. The other thing is honestly, I'll talk for mention. You're going to pick your article that you're going to use if you have no idea what topics to think about. Really anything with, start with what kinds of relationships are most interesting to you. Are you interested in family, parent-child, partners? Friendship doesn't get as much attention as it really should. Are you interested in non-traditional couples? So, for example, polyamorous couples, or not even couples. See, my bias is slipping in there. So you could look at different types of romantic relationships. You could also look at communication and difficulties. You could look at specific subgroups, so maybe relationships within specific religious or cultural groups. You can also look at things like athletes on a team, classmates, coworkers is important. You spend a lot of time at work. Almost all of the close friends that I've made since college have been coworkers, and even the vast majority, I only have maybe a handful of friends from college who weren't either from, the dorms, my work, or friends of friends. I have very few, people that I just made friends with from class. So I think work is a hugely important part of our lives. You could also look at things like neighbors, or you could look specifically into, residence halls and how friendships form, and relationships being a broader term, how those form. So for articles, there's a lot of things you can look into. I would say, if you have no idea, start just Googling interpersonal relationships or psychology. You can also look through some of the slides that we do and kind of try to look at some of the special topics. You could also, if you're interested in specific barriers or issues, like how, having relationships with someone who abuses substances, or relationships with someone who's a narcissist. So there's a lot of different ideas. If you're not sure if an article fits or not, you can submit it, and if it doesn't work, I'll just tell you to submit another one. Or you can email me if you want me to take a quick look at it. Ideally attach the PDF. If that doesn't work out, send me a link that'll take me straight to the article. You're also going to sign up for a time to present to discuss your article. You're going to do a really brief intro, but it's not like a formal presentation of your article. It's mostly about sort of, here's some ideas, let's talk about them, and then trying to lead a discussion for a little bit. So don't add or delete days. You'll notice sometimes there's 2 slots for a particular day, and that's because looking at the schedule, I think that day has room for 2 presenters and discussions. And then there's a few extras on our final exam period. And then the other thing is you can do this through a discussion board, or you can do it during live class time. And people can get some points for participating either way. So I haven't figured out exactly how I'm setting that up yet. I'm probably going to do a dedicated discussion board that's just for these discussions. But let me know over here whether you want to do it in class time or on a discussion board, and it's up to you. And then you're also going to pick a movie to do your first paper on. The articles you can do, I think I said up to pairs you can do it on. No, I don't remember. Let me look at the syllabus because that's an important clarification. Yeah, so the article discussion leader, I said individually or in pairs. I don't think I said anything on the genogram. So you could, if you do want to work in a pair, you would just send me an email saying this person and I want to work together. Make sure that you include that other person on the email so that I know that they're cool with it. Movie selection, you can do pairs or small groups. Especially if it's more than 3 people though, you gotta pitch to me an idea of how you're gonna make the paper a little more complex to justify having so many people sharing credit for it. And that could be including more clips. It could be adding in outside resources. There's a few ways you could convince me of that. And past students have said that animated films work really well for the first paper. And then after that, if you want to do more live action movies or TV shows, but a film, like a movie, is a little more, a little less overwhelming in terms of the total information you have. You know, if you have a TV series that ran for 8 years or more, that's a lot of character development. There's a lot of changes. Or something like Grey's Anatomy, where it runs a long time, has a lot of cast members, and does a lot of big plot twists. That's a lot to track and try to put into a paper. They also said that with cartoons, it was a little easier to capture all of the nonverbals because it was much more clear and exaggerated in a sense. So that's not required at all. That's just kind of tips from what people said worked before. And ideally choose something you're pretty familiar with. Know that you're probably going to have to watch it a few times to do what you need to do for the project. So make sure it's something you like well enough to watch a few times. Yeah, so that's our first module. It's a lot of really just, a lot of winding up and getting ready to go for the rest of the semester. The next week is you're working on your discussion notes and moving with that, or the next module. Other than that, things are a little more calm. Next module, we start sort of settling more into our routine. This module is just a lot of getting ready. If you need anything, reach out to me. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.